Welcome or welcome back to my story-focused playthrough of the main Koresh campaign on the 11.2 PTR. Gonna jump right in where we left off, but first, let's sort of summarize the story so far. So, we have learned that both the brokers and the ethereals are actually the same people, or at least they're from the same planet, the planet of Koresh, which was destroyed by the Void Lord Dimensius some many millennium ago. And in the first storyline, the brokers and the ethereals pretty much reunited. The brokers have taken Xal'atath out of the Shadowlands and brought it to Koresh. And together with the ethereals, they have formed what is called the Koresh Trust, which is a group of some specific broker cartels and the consortium, along with Locus-Walker and Alleria Windrunner here. When we got to Xal'atath, it was being sabotaged and attacked by the Shadow Guard Ethereals, a group of Ethereals who have basically given over to the Void and are allied with the Void Lord Dimensius. It's very weird that after having their planet destroyed all those millennium ago by Dimensius, they now want him to destroy it fully again? The Void does really weird things to people's brains. Anywho, in the process of saving the city from the Shadow Guard, a familiar face appeared. None other than Xal'atath, the Harbinger, and, as it turns out, Dimensius's former Harbinger. And even though she's been our enemy for pretty much, honestly, sort of longer than the War Within expansion, she's on our side just this once, because it turns out we have a common enemy in the Void Lord Dimensius. We learned that Xal'atath not only dislikes Dimensius, but that in the destruction of Koresh, she sort of betrayed him because she was hoping to use an artifact from old Koresh to free herself from being a slave under Dimensius's control. So, as they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And even though Alleria is clearly very not happy with this because we're not going to forget what happened to Dalaran, we have all reached a tentative alliance. Absolutely no one trusts each other, but we are all working together to save Koresh for a second time from the Shadow Guard Ethereals and the Void Lord Dimensius. And that's where the story puts us.
Our fight continues.
There's a small island to the northeast of here called Overlook Zoshul. My scouts have been searching for a way into Manaforge Omega, where we must stop the return of the All-Devouring. If we are fortunate, the scouts have already found a safe pathway inside.
My past does not. The Trust sent scouts to observe the Shadow Guard's Manaforge. Come along, champion.
I can feel a presence. It's growing.
Dimensius. His power is so great that no mortal can approach without being destroyed.
I can sense him. Dimensius. His presence feels heavy this close to the machinations of the Shadow Guard. It is unsettling. Let us resolve this quickly.
I will do as I promised.
I hope my scouts have found a way to safely enter the Manaforge.
Survival is our utmost priority.
Dimensius's power is so great that even shattered, his aura radiates a power debilitating to mortal life. It is why the Koreshi were changed to beings of energy. It was the only way we could survive his presence. I had hoped my scouts could find a path that was safe for you and your compatriots to enter the Manaforge. Rosita, Losha, and Yanal should have met us by now. Find them for me. Their information is vital to our defense against the All-Devouring.
Alleria and the champion need to enter the Manaforge if we are to destroy the All-Devouring. It is dangerous. My scouts search for a means to get you and your allies inside.
This ethereal's wrappings have traces of void energy swirling around them. A quick search reveals a hidden ripped pocket. Its contents gone. This ethereal's wrappings are enveloped by swirls of void energy. The ripped wrappings point to the possibility that this was caused by a sharp blade. There's no sign of a fight. They might have been surprised by the attacker.
Dimensius must be stopped.
Rosita was a Shadow Guard agent? I've trusted her for thousands of years. How did they break her loyalty? If she could be turned, then any of the Trust's agents could be as well. It is vital that we get the information about their base, and we can only rely upon the four of us to do so.
We do what we must.
During the Devouring War, I witnessed the horrific results of the All-Devouring's presence. A mortal being cannot approach him at the Mana Forge. He is the entropy of the end, and you are just flesh. Xal'atath knows rituals from across the Great Dark Beyond. With the power of the Reshi ribbons, she was able to transform the Koreshi so they could withstand Dimensius. Alleria will not like this plan. You must convince her.
We cannot delay. Champion, grab hold of my Rishi ribbon. Xal'atath will transmute you into energy as she did the Koreshi.
We got stuff to talk about here, but
This is madness! Don't let that monster touch you!
we'll get a little bit more information in this Stay a While listen.
Victory.
Now I'm learning that somehow Xal'atath had a hand in transmuting the ethereals into what they are today? How did that work for them? They've lost everything! How can Locus-Walker even look at her? I don't know what to think about the Reshi ribbons either. They sound like dangerous artifacts. What else can they do? What else can Xal'atath do with them? If they're really that powerful, shouldn't we protect them from her?
Find the path. You were the one that transformed the ethereals and brokers. I was told it was the energies of the Void.
The Void doesn't transform. It consumes. My skill, and the power of the Rishi ribbons, were required to change the Koreshi.
The Ravel worked in secret, ensuring our people could survive Dimensius's energies in the inevitable destruction of Karesh.
You didn't tell your people the truth. To this day, they think it was Dimensius who changed them.
The Void feeds on conflict and panic. Had these Ravel villains told the people how they intended to save them, it only would have empowered Dimensius.
That's not how I would have put it, but she is right that there was neither time nor trust. We had a difficult choice to make.
So, the original lore on how the ethereals got the way they are actually comes from one of the Ask Creative Development rounds, where someone had asked, how did the ethereals get so ethereal? And we learned in the answer to that question that when Dimensius attacked Koresh, he'd opened portals into the Twisting Nether, and so the planet was being bombarded with both arcane and void energy. And it does say in that answer, technically, that it was arcane energy, and that it was so intense, this bombardment of the planet, that it basically completely wiped away their corporeal shells, but that they had been infused with the arcane, and I suppose also the void, based on what Alleria said, and were able to survive as just sort of energy beings, and that they would then basically wrap themselves up in these bandages to give themselves some sort of form. Well, we just learned that's propaganda, I guess, or at least that's not the whole truth. It turns out that Xal'atath took this artifact of Old Koresh, the Reshi ribbons, and used it to transform the Koreshi so that they could survive the destruction of Koresh. And I love what she says about how the void doesn't transform, it consumes. She's basically saying that they would have been completely wiped off the map had it not been for her transforming them. Xal'atath is like literally mommy. She's ethereal mommy. Like she metaphorically created I mean, metaphorically and literally created the ethereals. And I mean, I like that line, but it is a little bit weird because we have seen cases where the Void has transformed. Locus-Walker sort of being an actual example of it, but also the Shadow Guard ethereals, and pretty much any other sort of creature that has taken the Void into themselves. But they probably could not have transformed to survive in the way that they do. Like, the Void definitely would have actually just killed them all. It would not have helped them survive the destruction of Koresh. So, even if you sort of see what she said and you're like, well, technically, semantically, pedantically speaking, that's not true, I still think it's a banger. I still think it's a totally banger line, and as much as this is like a retcon of the original lore, I like this so much more. But also this gives so much context to why Locus-Walker trusts Xal'atath and why they've been allies. Because she literally saved his butt. She saved his whole entire people. And so Alleria may not trust her, but look, she's sort of saved the people of this planet once, so maybe she can do it again.
Danger lurks.
Okay. Are you sure? This is madness. You and I, we have no idea what she can do with that ribbon. How do I know it will even work? What if it only works on the ethereal's previous form? How do I know if you'll come back? What if you're hurt or worse? All we have is Xal'atath's word for it, which is worth nothing to me. The only lead I have is Locus-Walker, his words that are becoming hollow. I don't know if I can trust him either. You're the only one I can still trust. This makes me feel sort of bad.
Do it, champion. I will make sure she restores you.
With only one ribbon, the transformation is singular and temporary. Your assurance is unnecessary.
Locus-Walker says, I knew it would be difficult having Alleria and Xal'atath try to work together. I wish Windrunner could understand the magnitude of the threat that Dimensius poses. When Koresh faced this threat before, we were only able to survive the shattering of the all-devouring inner world because of the transformation the Harbinger offered using our Reshi ribbons. I do not trust her, but I understand her. She needs us to survive, and we need her.
We do what we must.
What do you know about the Reshi ribbons, Xal'atath? When I first met them, the members of the rabble each carried a Reshi ribbon. The ribbon was both a representation of the status of its wielder and a conduit through which great energies could be channeled. Hundreds of thousands of years have passed, and it seems their powers have only grown. I can sense Locus-Walker's Reshi ribbon now just begging to be unleashed, and a few more in the islands around us. So I had said during part 1 that we were going to learn about the timeline, because for Xal'atath to have been present at the destruction of Koresh, this would have had to predate her being trapped in the knife. And since she was trapped in the knife during some point in the Black Empire, that was at least over 20,000 years ago in Azerothian history. We don't really know exactly when. So learning that this happened like actually hundreds of thousands of years ago. Also, I would like to point out that carries the implication that each of these ethereals are hundreds of thousands of years old. Like, move over, Night Elves and Draenei. We officially have a new sort of oldest race of creatures in the cosmos. Okay, what is your involvement with the Reshi ribbons and the Koreshi? My dear, Xal'atath chuckles. That is someone else's secret to tell. Another time, perhaps.
Keep your enemies close.
She agreed. Alleria listens to you, my champion. You are indeed our savior.
We're in this together.
With Locus-Walker's Reshi ribbon, I can transmute your fleshed energy. It won't hurt. Much. You'll have the ability to travel within Dimensius' aura without being destroyed. There you can search for a path into the Mana Forge. You'll travel in untethered space as a creature of energy, ignored by the Shadow Guard. Their void beasts, however, stay well away or be devoured. Talk to me when you are ready. Time is of the essence.
We will survive. With my help, victory awaits. You are now like the ethereals and brokers were. An untethered soul composed of energy. This conduit connects to the garrison. We should check for entry closer to the Mana Forge. These pipes aren't just carrying energy, but untethered souls too. The Shadow Guard is manufacturing an army. All pathways to the Mana Forge pass through the aura of Dimensius. Only a being composed of energy would survive. We will need more than Locus-Walker's ribbon. With only one ribbon, the transformation fades and you are beset by the power of Dimensius. Do not fret, my champion. I'll save you. Sharp as a blade, aren't you?
I've infused these Reshi wraps with the remaining power of my ritual. Not enough to get you to Dimensius, but with time, you will learn the secrets of the untethered space.
You would never reach Dimensius without the Rishi ribbons and my help.
We forestall extinction.
Xal'atath is correct. We need more than my one Reshi ribbon to get a force to Dimensius. There's an ecodome south of here. The founder of the Trust is there, overseeing its operation. She acquired the domes from the Consortium. She claims they will be the key to restoring Koresh. I am skeptical anything will be safe now that Dimensius stirs. She was a member of the Ravel and possesses a Reshi ribbon. Surely she will lend it to us.
Survival is
Why did you even help the Ravel in the first place, Xal'atath?
The same reason I'm helping you. The promise of an end to the All-Devourer.
There's another small little lore thing I want to point out here. The eco-domes. Now, one of the things that really struck me the first time upon coming to Koresh is that this is so... Like, there's so many things that they've pulled from Netherstorm. I mean, it's got, like, the same vibe. We're on a bunch of floating rocks in space on a destroyed planet. But also, the ecodomes. Now, I do want to point out, you do learn in Netherstorm quests, and these are quests separate from what was in the 1117 lore walking stuff, but you do learn in Netherstorm quests that the ecodomes are actually ethereal tech. And I think this is also said in the CDOV answer, that when Dimensius was first attacking Koresh, they did put up ecodomes to try to protect themselves and protect Koresh's native flora and fauna. I don't know that it's ever clarified in the quests. I haven't done any of the local stories yet, though. I've only done the main campaign, I should say that. But I think that most, if not all, of the ecodomes that are up in this part of Koresh that we go through in the quests are relatively recent. I don't think that they've actually been here, or rather, I don't think that they're the ecodomes that were referenced in the original lore and have been here since the destruction of Koresh. I think that these were put up by, as we will very shortly learn, the founder of the Trust, and those allied with her. But it just sort of made me think, because, like, Koresh should technically have ecodomes that have been up since the destruction of Koresh.
I asked for your help, Locus-Walker. Instead, you've brought the Harbinger to my dome.
I just wonder if they were maybe destroyed. Anywho, yes, we do in fact learn that Venari
Comes salvation.
is the founder of the Trust, and that she was a member of the Ravel alongside Locus-Walker, and moreover, as the quest just told us, that she has her own Reshi ribbon. And I would like to use it now as an opportunity to give you a new theory of mine, which is that because the Reshi ribbons are so insanely powerful that they can literally save a whole people, I would like to think that she used her Reshi ribbon to protect herself from the jailer in the maw. Just putting that out there. Okay, that is all.
Everything I've done has been for Karesh.
Landing is not something I do without something in return, and especially for something as powerful as a Reshi ribbon. You'll have to work for it. My Eco-Dome needs all the help I can coerce from my friends.
What is more valuable than home?
Hundreds of thousands of years, and Venari is still as suspicious as ever. How nostalgic. Xal'atath chuckles. We must convince her to contribute to the greater good, my champion. The Shadow Guards sulk in the shadows, but they will not extinguish the hope in this Eco-Dome. If we can do anything to preserve this place, we must do it.
May your aim never falter.
The Shadow Guard attacked the Eco-Dome. They must covet the vast stores of energy needed to shield the delicate biomes from the void of Karesh.
We do what we must.
Do not be fooled by Venari's demeanor. She has the best interests of Karesh at her heart. She even swore an oath to restore Karesh, and there is nothing more binding in our society than an oath. We must play by her rules and earn her assistance. I promise it will be worth it. That line about the oath, about how there's nothing more binding, remember that. That is a really fun bit of cultural world building for the Ethereals, but that will come back.
Survival is our utmost priority.
My Reshi ribbon is all that is keeping this dome and its systems from collapsing. This Eco-Dome took too much of my fortune to build just for the Shadow Guard to destroy it. They have sabotaged many of our control consoles, risking a complete ecological collapse. Find Engineer Omloof and help him restart our environmental support system while I monitor the rest of the facility.
My only thing holding everything together is my Rishi ribbon. I spent my fortune to acquire these ecodomes. I won't let them collapse. Traveler, stabilize the dome. The rest of you, secure this area. The Shadow Guard are everywhere.
It did actually say that she acquired the ecodomes from the consortium. So maybe these have been here since the destruction of Karesh. I'm overthinking it, but it never explicitly spells it out. I just can't help but wonder, I'm like, how many of them are new and how many of them have been here?
Hello, my champ.
I thought you were just going to consult the Harbinger. Not bring her along.
I insisted. Last time, the Ravel was unable to complete the straightforward task it was given. I need to look after my interests. I need to know that we will bring an end to Dimensius.
Is that so? Then if you insist on being part of this venture, I'm going to put you to work. Don't just float around making sassy remarks. Make yourself useful and kill some Shadow Guards.
Do you really trust her?
I trust her to do whatever she needs to survive. We share a purpose. To kill the all-devouring. That may change once Dimensius is dead. Don't just stand there scowling at each other. Get to work. My dome is in crisis.
I feel like Venari, by nature of needing to survive in such harsh environments, understands people so well. And I like that line about how she doesn't really trust Xal'atath, but she trusts that she can predict Xal'atath's, like, motives and drives. And I feel like that says a lot.
Technomancy is the answer.
You shouldn't be here, stranger. Venari sent me to help you.
Quickly, mortal, before we lose environmental support. Activate the rods.
Rod of parameters.
Good. Now get the next rod.
Rod of analysis.
Ah, the rod cracked. Get me a new one. Go! Structural integrity acceptable. We might survive this. Next rod.
Rod of restart.
Did it work? Yes! System stable! Ha! Tell Venari we won't explode.
Energy control systems may be stabilized, but the biomes will still crash without my ribbon. I swore an oath to restore my world.
This ecodome will fail if the environmental support system stops. We must stabilize it.
Our work has just begun.
Environmental support may be back up and running, but don't get complacent. That was merely the first of the many problems plaguing this ecodome.
I must protect my investment.
Just like Engineer Amuf, I've hired more well-regarded, highly trained, expensive management consultants from Cardell Ohm. 2 of them have not reported in. Are they dead or just distracted again? Find botanist Omnitar and shield technician Amdur. Get their damage reports. I need to know if the attack caused any lasting damage to my dome.
My fortune for the world that was.
The Shadow Guard attack has caused chaos and disarray in this dome. Several control consoles are powered down and my consultants are stretched thin, reviving their assigned biomes and systems. This is where you come in, Traveler. It's an easy but critical job. Find the disabled consoles and make sure they restart.
Dangling your ribbon in front of us so we do your dirty work. You haven't changed, Venari.
I give the Traveler the ribbon when it's not the only thing keeping the biomes in this dome alive.
A deal is just another kind of oath.
Stranger, what a mess! The ecodome's containment system went down for a brief moment and several void creepers took advantage of it. Will you help me get rid of them?
It is good to see our At last we return to Karesh.
We've lost a small number of plants, but luckily these were not rare and will replenish with time. I wish to see Karesh bloom, or at least have the ecodomes reminding us of a time long ago where everything was better. A time before the Void Lord, before the Harbinger, before our world shattered and our lives collapsed. Alas, I shouldn't bother you with such things. Tell Venari that I have it all under control.
Your patronage is quite appreciated.
Botanical report detailing every plant, seed, and count of every item and their progress within Ecodome Primus. Who are you? What are you doing in here? I don't have the time to chat with a fleshling unless you came here to tell me it's time for a break. Venari wanted to make sure you were still alive. I am alive, yes. I've been trying to collect these void spores ever since the attack. I'm tired. Maybe you can take over for a bit?
May you succeed in your endeavor. Wealth can solve any problem.
Thank you for the help. I can take it from here. Is there anything I can do for you in return? Tell Venari that the shield integrity is in good shape. Luck was on our side this time, as the Shadow Guard attack was focused on control consoles rather than the Ecodome itself. I will keep surveying everything, enhancing some key locations with arcane energy before moving back to the usual maintenance routine.
The systems may be stabilized, but the Shadow Guard continue to raid the Ecodome for its energy. Put your hopes in the trust.
Find botanist Omnitar and shield technician Andor and bring the reports to Venari.
Our work has just begun.
Are they alive? Good. Next time they forget to check in, they won't be. Venari skims through the reports. Looks like there was minimal damage, if any at all, to most of the facility. The Shadow Guard saboteurs were focused on rerouting our energy reserves to the outer conduits. They've ignored the environmental and secondary systems.
What is more valuable than home?
Are all the consoles operational? No? Go switch them on!
Our work has
Good
just
work.
begun.
The interior of the dome is stabilized. All the Ecodome systems are functioning. My investment in the Ecodomes will continue to pay dividends, unless the Shadow Guard attack again.
I must protect my investment.
We may have driven the saboteurs out of the dome and repaired its systems, but that doesn't mean the Shadow Guard is done with my domes. They're still hiding at the perimeter, trying to find a way to harvest the vast amounts of expensive energy needed to power the Ecodome. I need you to fight them off. Then maybe this attack will truly end.
What is more valuable than home?
We can't have you patrolling the perimeter of this dome like the City Watch fighting attackers in perpetuity. We need a permanent solution so we can continue with our noble quest. Take these crystals. They've been attuned with the Ecodome's defense magics. Just place them near strategic parts of the perimeter to strengthen the magical defenses. What? This time, it's no trick. If this dome explodes, I'll never get to destroy Dimensius.
I will do as I promised. Alleria has been quiet. I think she's still angry at me about Dalaran. There aren't many who Alleria trusts, aside from Locus-Walker. A foolish exception to a wise rule. First, let's destroy the All-Devouring. Then, we see what becomes of our partnership. If it isn't my favorite mortal.
That should secure this dome. But will Venari make us float through any more hoops?
We will survive.
My defenses will kill the Shadow Guard who may threaten our little agreement with dear Venari. I know you must be so very disappointed. Killing is what you're best at, isn't it?
I will do as I promised.
Good. That will buy us enough time to secure this dome.
Comes salvation.
I cannot relinquish my Reshi ribbon just yet. Not while the Shadow Guard assaults my Eco-Dome from their camp in serrated peaks. Take the fight to them. If you decimate their forces, they will stop this assault. Bring Locus-Walker's apprentice, Alleria. She looks like she knows how to handle herself in a fight. She also keeps staring daggers at the Harbinger, and I don't have time to play peacemaker between those two.
Our work has just begun. Destroy the Shadow God's camp, and I'll give my Rishi ribbon to the cause.
An ethereal army
I'll
runs
go with the champion. Meet me at the camp.
on its energy siphons. Interrupt the flow of energy by destroying their siphon the tower, and the army will pull back. It's one of their weaknesses as minions. Normally, I wouldn't share the secrets of their defeat, but they betrayed me, and will forever live with the consequences. The siphon has a control console that can be overloaded to collapse the system. It will be shielded by a void barrier. Alleria can remove it for you.
With my help, victory awaits.
Hypothetically, she could do it, but she doesn't. Of all the assets on the field of battle, the troops are the most expendable. I've sent enough to their destruction to know this is a fact. If we are to safeguard this dome for Venari and get her Reshi ribbon, we should destroy their cannons. Those cannons are easily worth the lives of all their soldiers. Destroy them, and the commanders will sound the retreat. Most field commanders would never admit this, as it's bad for morale. But you seem like the type that can handle uncomfortable truths.
What next? If it isn't my favorite mortal.
I can sense Xal'atath buzzing about you. Don't listen to her lies.
I'm not the one lying to you about what happened to Koresh. The world breaking apart shattered Dimensius. He wouldn't do that to himself.
I don't know who to trust anymore. But we can't lose track of Xal'atath. Stay with her. Let her think you are her champion.
Who controlled the Rishi ribbons? Who wanted the Void Lord destroyed?
Good job. That should satisfy Venari.
What are you saying? I've had enough of your whispers. Know your target.
I feel like there's something Locus-Walker and Venari are keeping from me. Some secret during the Devouring War that they don't want me to know. Xal'atath is pulling on this doubt to manipulate me. Let's defeat the Shadow Guard. Then we can uncover the truth.
Stay alert.
Without their cannons, the Shadow Guard's attacks on the Eco-Dome are doomed to failure. Venari won't have need of her Reshi ribbon. I'm more and more unsettled by this plan of ours, though. Secrets, this alliance with Xal'atath. I fear Locus-Walker made a mistake thousands of years ago. We cannot escape that ancient mistake.
May your aim never falter.
I need to focus on the mission. Regardless of my doubts about our companions, the Shadow Guard are a scourge. We should slay their Shadow Captain so they cannot easily return to Ecodome Primus. Venari would lend her Reshi Ribbon to our cause, and we would discover if my trust in Locus-Walker was well placed. I will not let my doubts stay my bow on the battlefield. You can trust me to hunt these followers of Dimensius.
Come find me and I will reveal the truth. No more secrets. Sharp as a blade, aren't you?
With that necessary violence taken care of, the three of us can talk. You are correct, Alleria. Great secrets have been kept from you. Secrets that were not mine to reveal, but should have been revealed to you years ago.
Keep your enemies close.
Seeing you two on the battlefield was beautiful. It really is wonderful watching you work. If only your so-called friends had trusted you with the truth of their actions so long ago. Locus-Walker hasn't tried to deceive you with his actions in the present. There was actions in the past that led us to this point. He has been less than forthcoming about. In all good conscience, I cannot continue hiding the truth from you, or Alleria.
We will survive. The All-Devouring didn't destroy the world. The Ravel destroyed Koresh to kill Dimensius.
Dun 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 dun.
No. No, they couldn't have. You are lying.
Ask them.
Sowing chaos, even when she's our ally. I think, Locus-Walker, we're gonna get a little bit more context on this in a second, but Xal'atath made a good point. Like, why would Dimensius destroy Koresh when he was feasting on it? Destroying the planet hurt him. It fractured him into fragments. So she's like, okay, well, it wasn't Dimensius who destroyed the planet. Connect the dots?
I deserve the truth, Locus-Walker.
Locus-Walker. Could he have... Alleria shakes her head.
Know your target.
Real-time cutscene. Alleria confronts Locus-Walker. Alleria confronts Locus-Walker about the truth behind Koresh's destruction. He admits the Ravel struck a deal with Xal'atath. She would help them save their people in return for destroying Koresh. Locus-Walker insists it was the only way for them to survive Dimensius, but Alleria's trust in him is broken. She throws the Reshi Ribbon down and storms off.
I swore an oath to restore my world.
This is just like the Harbinger to fulfill her oath to the letter, but leave our allies devastated. If there was any other way to stop the All-Devouring from rising once more. With my Reshi Ribbon, you are a step closer toward reaching Dimensius. You will need at least twice as many to get a force large enough past his dread aura. Good luck, Traveler. Watch the Harbinger's every move.
My fortune for the world that was.
The threat of the Shadow Guard the Ecodome Primus is over. My Reshi Ribbon is no longer needed to protect this asset. Take it. Use it wisely. Protect the greatest investment of all, our existence. Stay focused. The Harbinger has already driven off one member of your team. Once you get enough Reshi Ribbons, you still need to fight Dimensius. Find allies who will stand with us, in addition to artifacts.
Take my Rishi Ribbon. Defeat the All-Devouring.
We're in this together.
Why did you tell her this was...
Alleria would have pieced it together eventually. Better to control when she has her little outburst.
I should have been the one to tell her. It was my burden to...
Returning home has made you sentimental, sorcerer. You walk a dark, lonely path. Your elf student will see the bigger picture in time. Stop wallowing. Go and defeat the Void...
Oh, at least one of you lot has figured out their price.
Enough! Make sure he succeeds.
I'm sure you...
Then go. I have my investment to protect.
Okay, the dialogue overlaps a little bit, so if you're purely listening to this, there's an important thing you may have missed that I would like to point out. So, Venori says toward the end there to Xal'atath, "Enough. Make sure he succeeds. I have been to them all. I know what the Void fears." And this is a whole can of worms. And I don't quite know what to make of it. Multiple people have pointed out that in the Three Sisters comic, when Alleria talks to Sylvanas, the Void is whispering in her head, telling her to kill Sylvanas, to get rid of her. And I always assumed that the Void was telling her to kill Sylvanas because of Sylvanas' allegiance with the Jailer. That the Void was diametrically opposed to the Jailer. Which I guess if the Jailer was technically trying to dominate every cosmological force to unite them against something else, then I suppose that makes sense. So I don't know if that really connects here, because is that what the Void fears? I wouldn't say that they were afraid of the Jailer per se. And I do also want to point out that when Venari says she's been to the Maw, she knows what the Void fears, that doesn't mean that whatever the Void fears is in the Maw. We do know that Venari, to some extent, had a hand in sort of the Zereth Mortis storyline. And I almost want to draw a bigger leap and say that maybe what the Void fears has to do with the first ones, or the Zereths, more than anything else. Or even sort of thinking about what the Jailer said about how we can't stand against what's to come unless we unite. Maybe it's that thing that is still yet to come that the Void fears. But to be honest, I don't really know. Like, I don't have too many more theories beyond that. I'm just sort of content to sit and wait, and we will see.
Put your hopes in the trust.
Actually, one more thing. There are some theories. I don't know how much of this was, like, grounded in actual fact from evidence we got from Zereth Mortis, but there are many theories that the first ones are sort of could re-originate the cosmos, and it makes me think about how, well, the Titans had multiple re-origination buttons on Azeroth. They had the Halls of Re-origination, but also Algalon was gonna basically reorder the planet. So it's not too much of a stretch to assume that maybe the first ones could do something similar, and that's what the Void fears, like being deleted out of existence. And maybe that's also the same thing that the Jailer was referring to, but that is a completely speculative theory. I don't really know how much that's actually grounded in, like, real lore evidence. You have my ribbon. Go. Drag down the rest. Have Locus-Walker contact the other members of the Ravel. Ask the Harbinger if she knows any ancient whores that have acquired one. Remember Rule 12. It's who you know.
I must protect my investment.
And that is the end of the second storyline. These storylines are pretty long, and they are full of bangers. Like, we got so many insane reveals in this one about the destruction of Koresh, and the fact that Xal'atath, like, helped create the Ethereals too. And if you think that's all, there are still more reveals to come. Like, I love this patch so much. So thank you for joining me for the second storyline, and I'm just gonna get right into it next time and do the third storyline in part 3. So, hope to see you then.
Hello, my
She's
champion.
ethereal mommy. She's ethereal mommy. This dome's energy will feed Dimensius!
Make sure he succeeds.
I'm sure you
Then go. I have my investment to protect.
Nope. Feldspar. Oh my god, I remember that word from 8th grade science class, I think. Hundreds of thousands of years.
I cannot get anymore. For the world that
Alleria's about to have, like, a crisis. Just a regular day for her, honestly.
Stay alert.
We must play by her rules and earn her assistance. Wait, I got you. I got you, bro. I got you. I got you. I'm just saying.
We're in this together.
Not again! I